Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you, it's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
Good morning and welcome to West Breakfast. We are thrilled to have you join us as we explore yet another exciting topic today. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been with us before, we sincerely do appreciate you for being a part of our journey so far. Right here, we explore issues that matter. We shed light on topics that affect us all, especially in these trying times. As always, we bring in expert guests to help contribute the expert quotas to our conversation. My name is Omotoshola Sharimake. Welcome to the show, and of course with me, I'm not riding solo, I'm riding with my ladies. Hello ladies, good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
It's a full house this morning. Good
Yeah,
morning.
good morning.
How are we all doing? Today's Wednesday, midweek. How are we all doing? Let's start from the far end. Hello,
Thank
God,
God.
sweetie.
I'm alright. I'm okay. That's all I can say.
You seem dull.
But
Yeah,
behind the
alright,
scenes was
okay.
sharp, so I don't understand this fast mood
Maybe
change.
it's on camera something.
Maybe,
On camera now.
maybe.
Well, I'm
So
just
me?
like, oh, thank you, Jesus. It's the middle of the week.
You look forward to the
Maybe
weekend?
Look forward to the weekend. That's how I'm feeling.
Hi,
I'm
Mama.
feeling good too. I remember that I've been saying I'm okay, I'm okay. I think I'll just pass on that. I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm all right. That's the vibe now. We're doing good.
I'm okay. I'm fine.
I'm all right.
I'm all right. Anyways, if you get to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, let this be the last time I'm telling you in Jesus' name. Oh, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe, share the link to family and friends. Not only our YouTube channel, go to our different social media pages. We are there. We've collected a shop on social media. Just patronize us. Today we'll be having a discussion on how we can foster mutual respect and address sexual violence across gender. This is one of the trending issues happening right now in and out of Nigeria. It's not alone to tell the women to stay safe or tell the female genders to stay safe. What about the male folks? Are they respecting them? Are they staying safe themselves? Are they making the society very safe for us? We'll dissect this topic right after this break. Stay with us back with our headlines across the globe. Please be on standby. Glad to have you back. This is still Waste Breakfast. Hashtag what do you say? And now let's take a look at the pages of today's newspaper. Today we have the Punch, we have the Vanguard, we have the Guardian, and today we are not bringing in any foreign stories. We have the Daily Trust. And I will be starting with the Guardian newspaper, where the major headline is on the floor that has been in the news all through yesterday. It says, fears of fatalities as Borno Dam collapses displaces 500,000 persons. Key metrics, and then under it there is a literal explanation of what has happened before it and at the moment. It says key metrics of 2024 flood incident, pre-dam crisis, 29 affected states, 809,000 plus affected persons, 94,000 plus houses affected, 229 lives has been lost, 125,000 acres of farmland has been affected, 2,390 injuries sustained, over 300, close to 400 displaced persons, and 172 affected local government areas. This was in the news all through yesterday because in Borno State, it led to a prison break in Borno State. And Shetima, who is the vice president of Nigeria, was seen in a video trying to cross the a pool of water affected by the flood. So everybody has diverse reaction about it. Oh, if you have fixed this place, maybe there won't be prison break, maybe there won't be maybe the vice president of a whole country like Nigeria will not have reasons to be crossing, putting his own leg with the security guards and everybody putting their leg in a pool of water. But then, let's just say they have a taste of their own poison.
Prison break. Are you trying to tell us now that there are people that have been released into the society that need not to be released?
That's not released, they forced their way out. There was flood, so it broke the place down. So everybody flee for safety. Yeah, it's so sad. I mean, Borno State is one state that has high Boko Haram insurgents. So they're mixing back to the society. I just hope things does not go bad.
We have to get them back. I think that's
the first thing to do.
Get them back to the prison.
But I think the first thing would be...
How would you see them?
The first they want to do now is to focus on the flood, because everywhere is now flooded. They now have to go back to the IDP camps.
All right, let's go to the Punch paper. Still on the flood story, Borno Dam collapse. Federal government opens IDP camps as flood submerges 70% of Maiduguri. Inmates escapes, thousands displaced. Tinubu, NAS governors pledge aid as NEMA begins evacuation. Above that, we see why NNPC may not lift Dangote petrol on Sunday. Fuel importers fear domestic production, says Refiners Association. Southwest governors to spend 266 billion naira on airport projects. And Lagos Red Line train to transport 150,000 passengers daily. 10,000 new recruits for deployment February 2025, says police, and 70,000 wage. NYSC awaits federal government directives on new corpus pay. So there are two stories that catches my interest, all about money. The first one is the NYSC, minimum wage. When this minimum wage was being reviewed, I remember my excitement was around the NYSC because I was like, oh, thankfully, it will come up from 33,000 they're about to 70, but it has not been implemented. And I think, they are also awaiting that. Then the next story that I want to talk on briefly is the Southwest governors that plan to spend or already spent 266 billion naira on airport project. I read a bit of the story, not very long. He says governors in the Southwest, both past and present, have voted more than 266 billion for the construction of new airports, despite the non-viability of the many existing ones. So as governors continue to pursue this project, industry experts believe that some of these projects may not succeed and may not be profitable in the long run. Many ex-governors abandoned some of these projects, which are now burdens on their successors. And findings show that 6 Southwest governors have cited airport projects in their various states, sinking billions of naira on the project site. As Nigerians, with the current strain in our economy, when we hear a lot of money like this going into certain projects, we have questions. Our minds are running very wild because we know what's happening. I was listening to a podcast now, somebody mentioning something that in Nigeria, we are actually a very blessed nation. But the problem many times is the managing of the resources that we have. A lot of resources are just being wasted, not accounted for. We're seeing billions of naira going into airports. And I want to ask, what are the priorities in our nation right about now? And are our leaders looking at these priorities, or are they trying to do other things to complement, or let's just find a balance? I feel like priorities should be set, and let's focus on what is really
On a
pressing.
lighter note, I saw a video online where the lady is a Kenya also. She was saying, and boys in Kenya, that if not for Nigerians in Kenya, there would be nothing like buying champagne in clubs, doing dorime in clubs, or maybe club owners bringing in expensive drink, because Kenyan guys do not buy the drinks. So the person was saying that if not for Nigerian guys there, they are the one that spend on their ladies, they are the one that buy most expensive drinks, and anywhere they get to, they declare. So I was having a conversation with someone about it, and the person said, to be honest, Nigeria is a very blessed country.
Very blessed.
I mean, there's no place in the world we go to that will not leave a footprint. I mean, the original Nigeria, not Nigerian semi-border blood. Nigeria. We should go to Bahrain, we should go to Togo. You will know that this person is in Nigeria. We have this lifestyle that all African countries want to emulate.
Yeah.
But like they say, God shared problem to everybody. God now gave us problem of bad leadership. And it's like 90% out of our problem. If we can have, maybe not totally bad, maybe just fairly good, fairly bad, I'm very sure Nigeria will be very, very good. Very, very good. Let's take a look at the next one.
Okay, so the major headline for the Vanguard newspaper is Ajero, nobody is above the law, FG says. And on top of the headline we have, in deepening its capital markets, Nigeria raises over 900 million 5-year inaugural domestic FGN US dollar bond. And below that we have bandits leader Bello Turji, others soon to be captured. There aren't much headlines today. So I'll be looking at the major headline, because we all know that the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress he was arrested on Monday. Yeah, so let's look into the contents. The federal government yesterday rejected accusations of rights abuse made against it by the United Kingdom, the Trade Union Congress also, over the arrest of Joe Ajero, the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, insisting that nobody, including the NLC president, is above the law in Nigeria. Okay, so the Nigerian government was wrongly and falsely accused of rights abuse because the NLC president, Joe Ajero, was stopped from traveling abroad after he snubbed the invitation of a law enforcement agency conducting an ongoing investigation. So the example that they used was that in the United States, for example, now, the former president Donald Trump has been the subject of numerous investigations and prosecutions in courts in several states since he left the office. Also, Mr. Hunter Biden, the son of the president right now of the United States, has been the subject of a lawful investigation by the FBI. So for what reason would he not honor the invitation to be investigated? If you have nothing to hide here, why not? So that's why they held him, arrested him. And I think they said that they have released his passport and probably his phone for now. That's just it.
Well, of all the things you said now, what interests me was the fact that, after he was, arrested and all, his fellow members came out on social media to say, this guy needs to be arrested, and they're giving the police or whoever that arrested them 24 hours. And guess what? In less than 24 hours, it came out. I'm like, okay. All right, let me quickly, guide you through the Daily Trust, the newspaper you can trust. All right, but the major headline, it says flooding, over 200,000 displaced children missing in Maiduguri. We have Cobbs, that's beneath that. Cobbs floods as cemetery washed away, houses, Shehus Palace, hospitals submerged. The next one has crocodiles, snake escape into communities, Holy Ghost. Beneath that as well, we have Shatima consoles victim, Zukum responds, IDPs calms. All right, above that, we have Ajero's arrest, violation to trade union freedom, and that was about the United Kingdom, rather. Next to that, we have Nigeria's crude oil production rose to 1.352 million in August, and that was set by OPEC. Next to that as well, we have Israel kills 248 Palestinians in safe zones as rights groups condemn siege. All right, bottom of the newspaper, we have 125,517 terrorists, family members surrendered, and that was set by the DHQ. Bottom, or do I say beneath that as well, we have retired judge charged with assaulting neighbor's wife. Next to that, youths block road over killing of charcoal dealers in Bauchi. Then the last headline on the newspaper says, 5 bandits killed, corpse dumped in FCT, that's the Federal Capital Territory community. To be honest, there's just a lot of things that on the, the Daily Trust, and everybody on the table already spoke about it. We have the flooding, to be honest, like when you talked about the mispriority, I feel like that's, or misplaced priority rather, that's really what's going on with the government, right? So I'm not trying to bring up all the other things that we've talked about earlier, during the time where the president bought, presidential jet, presidential yacht, presidential car, and they forget that, these places actually need to be fixed. This road needs to be fixed. I feel like the only road that they kind of take care of is the one that they will pass in. That's those major state roads. But you see the ones that is in the local government, they forget that those ones are also very important as well. Because anything that happens to those streets, it actually also now goes down to even the state road that they are building or they have constructed over time. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's one. Then the one I also want to speak on is the retired judge charged with assaulting neighbor's wife. I thank God that we are going to be having that conversation because, it speaks to the topic that we are having today. Mm-hmm. I just want to understand what these people actually think. These people that we call rapists, these people that rape children, the pedophiles. I want to understand exactly how their head, what comes to their mind. I really want to understand that. So I love the fact that we'll be having this conversation today. So if you're literally watching, I think you should actually stay glued because, there are just a lot to learn. So that's all I have for you in the Daily Trust.
Thank you, ladies. Now let's take this break and return with our guest who joins us virtually to have a conversation around the ongoing crisis in and out of Nigeria. Please stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Imagine the world where the voices of the youth finally get the spotlight they deserve.
Welcome to Ways Breakfast, the groundbreaking show where young minds unite together to tackle issues that truly matter.
We're flipping the script on traditional morning talk shows, and this is your chance to hear the youth speak out.
We're not just skimming headlines, we're diving deep into the heart of topics that impact us all.
From politics to governance, tech innovations, mental health, and trendy social issues.
We don't just discuss, we ignite conversations that inspire change and spark action.
Join us every morning for fresh, young, and vibrant perspectives
that empowers the next generation to make a difference.
Start your day right with Ways Breakfast because when the youth speak, the world listens. Ways Breakfast, weekdays at 8 a.m. live on Upgrade TV.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. As mentioned earlier, we will be discussing how we can... I take that again. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. As mentioned earlier, we will be discussing how we can foster mutual respect and address sexual violence across genders. Sexual violence remains a significant issue in the society, impacting people regardless of gender, age, or background. While often seen through a limited lens, it is important to recognize that both men and women can be perpetrators and victims of this violence. We are honored to have with us today Miracle Yemoh, a distinguished thought leader with a remarkable background in leadership and political dynamics across Africa. Glad to have you join us. Good morning to you, Miracle.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mira.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to be here once again. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you too. So we are going to be addressing the issue of rape, killing, and everything line by line. I'll start with the one that trended last week on X. The young boy that killed his friend, Christiana. They happened to be friends. He killed her. Yeah, he killed her, buried her in his home in Ikorodu, and he also declared her missing. He texted the friends, okay, this person is missing. Have you heard anything about it? Now, we'll move ahead to the story of Craig in Georgia, who killed two pupils and two students in a school, two teachers rather, and two students in his school. The parents said they gifted this boy a gun for holiday gift, among so many other issues. A story of a 15-year-old boy who raped a 14-year-old girl in her home. A lot of stories have been on social media. The one that happened in my own state, Ondo State, a 17-year-old chef killed his madam. He and the driver connived together to kill the madam over 150K. After killing the madam, they only saw 60K. And it's appalling that people actually go to the length of killing someone, knocking their lives out just for 60,000 naira or 150,000 naira. And I'm curious, what goes on through the mind of people that does all of these harms? I don't know if possible, tell us, with these stories I've mentioned, one by one, what do you think was going on in their mind? Were they high? Were they under the influence of something? Were they in another spiritual realm? Because all of these things were not used for ritual killing. We've now started mentioning ritual killing in Ondo, in Ekiti, especially in Ondo, Ekiti, these couple days. We have not mentioned, one person killed one person, used the head for ritual killings. These ones are just killing for no good reason at all. So what do you think is going on through their head psychologically?
Okay, thank you so much, Mara. I was thinking about this. I was pissed as at the time I read one of the news, which was the guy who killed Christiana. I was really pissed, and I was wondering, okay, what could be the cause? So one time I was watching a movie, it was an American movie, and I saw that they were killing people, and and it was an action movie, but really interesting. But right there, I thought of something here. When I was very much younger as a child, this movie we watch, and it's okay. No, I'm not so much young. So this movie I watched, okay, that was Melly. Okay, Melly. And then when we finished watching the movie, I started trying to practice the whole like miracles, like the
Magics.
whole power stuff and all that. And I realized that it wasn't working. You see, the responsibility of sanity in our society today is actually not only the parents' responsibility, but also boils down to the media. It's very important. Sometimes we don't take note of these things, but really, the media has a role in actually shaping the mindset of young people, and not just only young people, but even the public. So, because if you think about it very well, how would you check it? These kids sometimes want to try what they watch. It's not because they necessarily want to do some of the things that, but the producers, directors, at the expense of creating interesting movies, they also pass the wrong message. Because these young kids here, their minds are not formed yet. So, they see things and then like, okay, what's this? Now, that's the media. And the other aspect is also with the family. I think family have a lot of responsibility to teach children how to filter informations. Now, you cannot determine what producers and directors actually release to the public, but parents are responsible for teaching kids how to filter informations. And that's, I think, is one of the major problems we're actually experiencing. And it's a global issue. It's not just, you see the news, it's not just in Nigeria, it's not just in Ghana, it's not just in West Africa, but it's a global issue. And I think that if you check some of this Western, like Korea and all that, they are very, very strict when it comes to setting policies like that. That you don't do this, you don't do that. That's because they understand the power of the media. And so when we are not mindful of what we release outside, it eventually we start facing the repercussions, because eventually kids, this is when the internet world is or watching, people are seeing what's happening. And so when we do not take the responsibility of having to teach children how to filter information, to filter things that they watch and see, we will be the one to face the consequences. And secondly, I think that some of these things, a very strong message should be sent to a very strong punishment. I don't like to sound this way as a leader, but I think a very strong message should be sent out there so that people understand that there are repercussions for things you do. You just don't do things that you think.
I guess we have a little bit of network issues. Okay, Miracle.
You can
Yes,
you hear me?
yes, we can.
Oh, really? So I don't know if you heard what I said.
Yes, you said there should be a repercussion to everything they do.
Oh yeah, definitely, really. They kill someone. It should be made painful because I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I don't want to sound evil. This guy, according to the news I heard, they said he had involved himself in some other things in the past.
Yes.
If himself in other things in the past, allowed to walk around. It's really wrong. Things like this, not until you have to kill someone else again before then we realize that, okay, this guy needs to actually be arrested.
Okay, I think we're trying to connect him back. So he talked about severe punishments that should be given to these people. And I think to Americans, they believe in rehab sessions. They don't believe in, oh, either I die by sword should, either I kill by sword should die by sword. They believe in, oh, let's find out why did they do it? Was there any prior altercation between this person and the person killed? I really do believe that people should be used as scapegoats. It might sound harsh, it might sound wrong, but I don't know if legally it is allowed. Someone that raped a younger boy, a younger girl, he himself is not up to 18 years. Yes, we understand there's juvenile prison, but I feel like someone like this should probably be made to go through a torture close to it. Yes, in the ancient days, there are different type of punishments. There are one that maybe they will tie you down, mosquitoes will feast on you, rats will feast on you. They sound really horrible. But I feel like the type of offense you commit should determine the type of thing. Maybe we should let rats bite your leg. Miracle is back. Very cool.
Okay, so it's really painful, but I think that men and women should really be taught to respect themselves. And I don't like to say this, but I feel that women are really vulnerable in our society today. I honestly speaking, and they're very vulnerable in the hands of men that supposedly think that they are powerful. Some men, because they have muscles, because they have, the whole body, and they think they are men, and they think that it makes them really powerful.
That's a cultural root.
Be taught how to think like men and not behave only like men in the context of strength, but in the context of understanding. Like, why would you? I said something some time ago, and I told ladies, I say, do not accommodate any guy that ever touches you. Like, even though he slaps you, even though he insults you in a manner that you feel like, oh, it's normal. It's wrong. Like, it's really wrong because the moment we keep allowing little things like this, it becomes a norm, and then we start seeing that certain men do not even respect women anymore.
Yes.
I think on every little thing, whether it's just touching you as a guy touching you as a lady, or just slapping you jokingly, it should not be allowed. It should not be allowed. I'm not an extreme feminist, but I believe that women are really vulnerable. With what has been happening, I realize that women are really, really vulnerable because there's certain places that as a woman you can't go to because why? You don't have. It's supposedly known that as a man thinks that you cannot fight for yourself when you go there, and I think that women, as much as a woman, you should take certain, training on fighting because I don't like to say this, but certain men have not been taught well to really be responsible men.
I love
and then
this line.
it would not be nice that an innocent woman would take responsibility for an irresponsible man's upbringing. And so, in order to create a safety society, it's not just police. It's not just the police responsibility to protect women as well, but as well, individual women should as well take on that responsibility to defend themselves by learning some skills. Because I'm very sure that probably if Christina had some skills, he probably would have punched this guy somewhere that he probably weaken him.
Thank you very much for that, Miracle. In fact, I really like how you concluded this because I was going to ask a question related to this. I know that we're talking about how to challenge the status quo, prevention strategies, take them to prison, repercussion and all of that. But my own philosophy is that I do not want to be the victim when something has happened. Then you use my case as a story, that this is what happened. I want to be safe. I want to be safe. I want to be okay. I want to know that there's no harm coming my way. So this takes me to the prevention strategies that we really need to start inculcating. Because the truth is that you see harm, you see danger, you see bad mindset from people who always have it. Like you've said, it's not just in Nigeria or Ghana or West Africa, it's across the world. So there will always be bad people. You know, this Christiana's case is a very, very sad one.
Yes.
Very sad. I was watching some TikTok trends where they were trying to, is it replicate the story? Or trying to, like, I don't know how to explain it, but the person was acting like the guy, and then there was another girl playing Christiana, and the guy was telling Christiana that, did you come here alone? You know, I don't know how we got to the point where people cannot be sensitive enough to be safe. So, you see, we need to really learn and educate people on how to challenge these harmful situations and keep ourselves safe, because prevention now is really key. I know we can do lectures, educate, and all of that, but I want to be safe. I don't want to know the reason why somebody is doing harm. That's his own business. If the harm comes my way, how can I be safe? So I want you to, discuss with us. You mentioned some, defense mechanism stuff. I saw on the diary of, what's her name now? Vife. She was doing a skit with somebody that was teaching her defense skills and all of that. And it made sense. But of course, what other prevention strategies do you think that we need to really start becoming sensitive about to prevent harm from coming our way? Because that's the key. That's the goal. I can't be hurt.
Note that they said pepper spray is illegal in Nigeria. They said holding the likes of a small knife, a table knife, maybe in form of a comb. They said it's illegal in Nigeria. So how do we stay safe?
How do we stay safe at this point? We have had a lot of lectures. We know they are bad. We need to be safe.
I think for me, some of the things is, you see, women should be very vigilant, yeah? I mean, be very vigilant. Understand the nature of men and understand how men think. And understand the kind of men you're probably moving out with. You see, I don't like to say this, yeah. Certain people will see a woman and see weaknesses. And it's not just, and I think it's not just a man or woman thing. It's a human thing, yeah, that sometimes when we see vulnerability in people, we tend to want to take advantage of it. So I think that as a woman, it's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of work to want to like do this. But the truth is, women are really vulnerable. And so as a woman, you have more responsibility to protect yourself by engaging in certain things. So understand the kind of man, because the truth is, I was thinking about it. I don't know really, and I have no right to talk about it, but for Christina to have, I don't know if Christina knew about the guy, but there's certain things men would do that would tell you that just move out, just like leave this man. Like, just leave this man. I know sometimes we I read something on Twitter. It says women have seen men as poverty alleviation, and then men have seen themselves as companies that, okay, if you want to break up, then it means give me return your property. And I think women should get to that point in their life that they are really independent and they're not waiting for men to have what they can work to get, because that way they will not be victims in the hands of men that have what they need. And the other is to actually see your surrounding, your environment should determine the kind of skills you should develop to defend yourself. So let's say you're around Moshi area and probably you need to go to work early in the morning. You should know that, okay, you should probably, engage in gym in maybe areas that are very risky, do certain things, learn certain fighting skills to help you, learn certain life technique skills to help you. I don't know why, but after the incident that has occurred, I realized that women are really vulnerable. And if I had a daughter today, I would not just let my daughter just think, oh, you have to actually learn to defend yourself by learning something, and also understanding men. Just don't think that every man has the same mindset that your father has or your uncle has, that you've seen other people. You should see that people are different. So you should deal with people based on who they really are and a brief knowledge of who you are as well too. So that I definitely knew that if Christiana knew how to read people in such a way that she could see from afar that this guy is mentally not stable. But like I said, sometimes parents do not teach their kids. The only thing they feel, the only responsibility they feel they hold to their children is just to provide food.
Yeah.
But you know, there are certain things that women, men go through that, see, responsible parents should be taught how to be responsible, and responsible parents should also teach their kids how to also be responsible. So the first thing is understand the environment you're coming from, understand the skills that is required for you to survive there. So if you're in a risky environment where, okay, you have to always go out or probably something like that, you should also know that, okay, this is what I should be doing. And if you know you're often around men, you should know the kind of men you're around with, and also know yourself too. So let's say that you are very beautiful, you know you're very beautiful, and then men oftentimes come around you. You should know, okay, this is the kind of men you should not allow around you, since you know that they are not strong in controlling themselves. Because I heard a story that, I don't know, I heard that he wanted to actually have sex with her and then she disagreed. Stuff like that. You should know that this is how you do it. You should know how to apply with situations like that so that you know how to fight for yourself,
I guess this is a cue to go on a
This stuff-
break. A miracle, we will be back after this break. But I want to know, why is it that I am the one staying safe? Why is it that I'm the one that have to wear a abaya so that one man will not see through my dress? Why is it that I, as a female, I'm the one that have to learn how to fight taekwondo? Why is it that I, as a female, I'm the one that have to hold pepper spray or know how to handle a small knife? Why can't our men be men? They are meant to protect us. They are meant to be the leader of the society. They are meant to be the head of the home, like they call them. Why do I have to put myself in so much stress? In workplace, you will meet some men that you will ask yourself that, who raised you? In churches, you will meet some men that you will wish you can do exorcism for them, because the way they think, the way they talk to females, their perspective about when they see a female, or what they see a female as is a figurine, like a mannequin. When I say yes, my yes is yes. But we'll continue this conversation after this break, and when we return, we'll also open our phone lines. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. You're welcome back to the show. Our phone lines are open now. Please let us know what your take is on this topic. Call us on 0702 500 or 0701 424 2420. We're still speaking to Miracle. Miracle, are you with us?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm here with you. I'm here.
Yes, please. Somto, over to you.
Yes, thank you very, very, very much. Because this has been in my mind since. You said women are vulnerable, are vulnerable, are vulnerable. Who made us vulnerable? I feel like this is a cultural root. No one can tell me anything. Yes, you said, okay, the television, yeah, that they portray violence and all that, but this is actually a cultural root. Right from day one, from an early stage, they put in mind that, okay, we are inferior, they are superior. I'm referring to women and men right now. I know that there are men out there who actually, okay, go through violence and all that, but let's not lie to ourselves. It's mostly women. Well, am I right? I'm right. So this is not even about, okay, what we wear. You can be fully dressed, covered all through your body, and still they will still inflict violence on you. They will still rape you, for goodness sake. Like there was this particular thing that came out, this 14-year-old that got raped by the landlord's son. Like, what's the excuse for that? Like, seriously, what's the excuse? Like, I'm sure she, like in the video and in the picture, she was literally wearing jeans, trousers, and a top. Yeah. So what goes through their mind? I feel that's why I feel like probably they should restructure the way the cultural beliefs. They should restructure the way they put things in our minds right from day one, from an early stage. Because right from day one, they keep on telling that okay, men, they are the ones that have to do this one. Men they are the big ones. They're the ones that they're the leaders. They're the ones that take over the home and all that. They now make us look like as if we cannot do anything. That we are very vulnerable to violence. That's where they put us. They put us so low compared to men, and that's not fair. Because it's not, like I said, it's not about what we wear again. At this point, you just see us and say, okay, let's inflict violence on you.
No, I don't. No. I don't think anybody can put a woman or a man anywhere. No, think about it very well. See, it's not about like put somewhere. I think it is just a human thing that, see, you would, okay, let me not use yourself as an example, but let me just set a general example. Think about it this way. If you see someone, that is blind, and you see a whole lot of money with them falling, and no one is around, nobody's around, there's a very high tendency that you would think, should I take one? Now, the thought comes into your head. Should I take it? Because no. Now, nobody's around. Nobody's around. You see, it's a human thing when subconsciously, when we see vulnerability, we tend to want to take advantage of it. It's one thing. It's not about women or men. It's just that now women are on the disadvantaged side, such a way that men actually think that they have muscles, so they can kill, they can do anything. You understand? And that's because those men have not been filtered. They've not been taught to filter the thought that comes into their head. So you see someone who is blind and has a lot of money with them, and the money is falling out. There's no how. The thought of wanting to steal, especially when you are hungry, start coming in. It's the same that goes for certain men. Certain men, they find themselves in a situation where because of probably some Christian men, some Muslim men, that they do not touch a woman, but now they want to protect their public reputation. So they would rather want to do something in a hidden place than rather do it on the open. So they will control themselves, in the public place. And when they see an opportunity to do something in the secret, eventually they do it, and they don't know that it will eventually still come out to the public. So I think that women should not think that men are putting them on. It's a cultural thing. It's not a cultural thing. I spoke to a woman in Brazil, and she told me that women are really, 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 really vulnerable in Brazil. So when she's going out, she doesn't just go out anyhow. I think some men have not been taught to really learn to see vulnerability, and instead of wanting to take advantage of it, but nurture it and let it get better. It's a human thing. It's not just some women too on the other side. If you see a guy who is a giver, who likes to give a lot in your dating, and you are broke, you would psychologically manipulate this man. Some women, not all women, some women, you psychologically want to manipulate this guy to collect money from me because you think he's a giver, because you think he's good at giving. And so the same thing is just that women, it's very bad. It's very, very, very bad. And I think sometimes certain men that cannot learn to control their thought should be taught to control it by getting punishment for the fact that they cannot learn to actually control the thoughts that comes into their head. Because the truth is, everyone has some evil thoughts one way or the other. But it is our responsibility to filter those thoughts and know which ones are welcome in society and which ones should be left to be buried within us and not be allowed a full expression in our society today. One of the reasons why we have some of these things going is because people think that every thought that they are thinking is valid. So the moment they think it, they want to put it into reality. And this is why we keep seeing a different set of evil coming into play, because people think anything they think is by themselves, so they want to let it come into play. And I think that's a big problem. And that's what we're having with a lot of things, because myself, I have the responsibility to actually learn to control my thoughts too. So if I allow myself to go all around and start allowing every thought to come into play, it's a lot of danger. And so certain men, if they start displaying, certain signs of the fact that they can't control their thought, I think they should be put into asylum. And maybe they should be taught. Honestly, that's the truth. Someone like that guy, as much as he will be as someone like the guy who killed Christiana, as much as he thinks he's good, I think people like that should be taken into places where they're really to see if their mental strength or their mental thinking capacity is actually right, is where it's meant to be, And I think that's about the traditional aspect. It's not Nigeria, it's not Africa, it's a global thing. Women are very beautiful, whether some people think you're ugly or not, women are beautiful beings.
Miracle,
And
I'm so
men
sorry.
oftentimes are carried away by
Miracle, don't I meet handsome men every day? Don't I see tall chocolate dropping, tall wine of glass every day? Don't I look at someone, I'm like, oh God, they create. Why is he not coming to me and say, okay, let me pin him down. Let me monitor him. Let me double cross him and remove his trousers. It looks as if only the man has eyes. We ladies also have eyes. We see. At times we even
Mira,
observe
that's
the.
because you can control your thought.
How? I'm human too. I'm not alien.
You can control your thought.
God's
That's
beauty.
because you were trained, you were taught to control your thoughts. You see, that's. I've also found women that too. You know, this thing is not just a woman or a man thing. It's a human thing. You know, you're pissed about it, but we about it, the human.
Okay, thank you so much, Miracle. Right? Let's talk a bit about. Can you hear
Are we
us?
there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so I want to understand this whole thing you're saying here. They are very much valid, right? Because I mean, you saying that like you said, it's a you thing. I kind of disagree with that, honestly speaking. I understand the whole. I mean, there are several things that we think about, and most times we want to put it in action. But this particular incident we're talking about comes from the men more than the women. So how come it's the women that can control their thoughts, and it's not the men controlling their thoughts? I don't understand. Now, I want you to explain this. Do you think sex education has a role to play when it comes to, addressing sexual violence? Do you think it's probably when we start teaching our children? Because, I mean, in this part of the world, Nigeria to be precise, our parents have a lot of issues having to teach us what sex is about. They start pronouncing things, instead of them to call breast, and call whatever that needs to be called their names, right? You see them calling it, two oranges. You see them calling it two mango, and all of those things. I mean, they don't get to even teach us what sex is about. Probably until when we get to SS and when we are being taught in biology or elementary science in the, in the JS 1 to 3.
Reproductive system.
Do you get? That's the only time that we get to understand it. But our parents don't sit us down to explain what these things are about, right? So I don't know if probably if they have taught us sex education earlier, it would have probably prevented, this sexual violence and harassment that we have now. But still taking it back to these people that rape people, these pedophiles that we have, is it that they're not taught sex education? I also want to understand that. Please put us on it.
Okay, see, I thought about it too, that, okay, why do these people get involved in these things, And it still boils down to the fact that it's like a displaced or distort superiority mindset that you think you're better than someone, so you want to actually trample on them. And it's a very, very like distorted mindset. It's like how would I put it? It's like a faulty brain. Like their brain has really been faulty. Like, it's faulty brain. It's a faulty brain, where you think that. And sometimes this thing is not just the action. They don't derive joy in the action itself, like the whole trying to rape and all that. They derive joy in the fact that they feel they are strong and they can do anything to you. And that's because, like you said, the sex education aspect is something that is very important. But sex education is also different from, the psychology of sex. True. Because sex education is basically talking about, sex and this. But the other psychology of sex, the only psychology aspect of sex education is the fact that some people do not understand how to actually consent to things. Some people did not been taught to accept women. When they say no, it's a no. When they say yes, it's I consent to it. And so some men have not been taught to say that if a lady tells you, I don't want to have sex with you, I don't want this, they don't know how to agree to it. So the aspect of the psychology should also be taught as well. But even if it's being taught, certain people's brain have been altered. And the only way to bring it into place is when they're put in isolation. And that's why sometimes they sell, because if they put them there, some of them, their head will reset well. Some people, they just have to be in cell for a lifetime. Because you just, like, you see a 40 or 50 years or 60 years old man who takes advantage of, a small child. someone like that, you can't teach them again. The best thing is to put them in a cell or put them in isolation, like, and be there. You know, it's painful, it's bad, but I think it's something that we found ourselves in, as humans. And I would not also say that we should also, hold agencies that are responsible for protecting the rights of people. The government agencies should also ensure that, okay, people face the repercussion for the things they do. Not just, sometimes, we see certain glaring facts and then we say we're investigating. And we're investigating for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and we're keep investigating. Men face it a lot. You see, women face it a lot, but I tell you the truth, men also go through a lot of things that we can't afford to talk about. We can afford to talk about. But as is not obvious with men, because as is more of a psychological aspect, it's a manipulation thing. We get manipulated. So because you cannot really say, doesn't mean that it's only women that are going through those things. No, men also go through those things as well too. Okay, I'm just going to share a story here. So I had this friend, and some time ago we were meant to be together, but she decided not to be with me. So I said, okay, no problem. And then all of a sudden one day she came around and then she wanted to just be close. And I was like, wow, this is surprising. Not knowing she was pregnant, and she wanted to put it on me. And eventually I realized she was pregnant. I'm like, wow, impressive.
Daddy, baby.
Now, something like that here, you probably would not see it. But let's say I'd agreed to whatever she was bringing on, I would then be in trouble. And eventually, I would be probably the first thing, oh, you have to marry this lady because you have done this, and then you have to marry her. And after like 50 years, 20 years, I do a test, and I realize that that's not my child. So I don't want to say from that point of view. Just that women they're like, physical violence, you see it. But men also go through that as well too. So that's what I'm going to say about that. But it's not just only women.
Thank you,
Men also go through
Miracle.
that as well.
Thank you. So now, who do we trust? How do we know who to trust? Because I can believe you are my colleague, but in the real sense, you've removed my clothes 1,000 times in your head. You're only just waiting for the opportunity where nobody will be in the office with you and I, and then you just go ahead and carry out the evil act. I saw a post online where the person said, we men should be responsible for our fellow men, responsible for our fellow men. If you notice that your son is acting a certain way, be strict about it. If your friend talks down on ladies, if your friend is violent with ladies, if your friend is the type that might probably rape 1 or 2 females, or that says it or even beats his girlfriend, correct them or cut them off or invite people to beat him so he can have a taste of his own medicine. I feel like it's high time we have good men out there. So for us to be able to filter out the bad men, we need the men to actually do this work. In India, almost every lady in India is at risk of rape or at risk of rape. Most of them, like 7 out of them, are raped at different times. And when they go to Mumbai police or they go to one of these police stations, even they even end up raping some. This same lady that we spoke about, she was raped at the police station. But our so-called security officers, they're supposed to enforce law, but one of them also raped a young girl. Like Oluchi mentioned a while ago, she said in the US or UK, most of the teenagers, I think statistics or something, most of
them are prone to die by gunshots.
You can imagine.
Normal death.
So how can we help all of this? Because we are already bringing the show to hand. How can we ensure that I, as a female, keeping a normal friend, maybe not even a close friend, how can I ensure that I am safe? And you male, how can you ensure that you male keep your fellow male safe? Enough of, I don't want to hear wear big clothes. I don't want to hear keep your nails short, be modest. I don't want to hear that. How can you males help your fellow male to be safe?
There's little we can do, but I think the little we can do could actually go a long way as well. And now this is what I'm going to say, that me, this is how I do it. I think that men should stop playing with women in such a way, like the way they play with men. I read in the book, and since then I realized, wow, this was really wrong. I didn't know it was that wrong. I just, give ladies go, and then I'm like, nah, this is really, really wrong. And stop playing. Because when we do that, I have younger kids at home, and when I'm doing things, I do not do things for them to see. So when I'm talking to my sister, I make sure that I don't talk to my sister in such a way that they see it and they feel, okay, I can talk to a woman anyhow like this too. Now, I don't insult my sister. I've never touched my sister, probably only when we're kids, because I don't want her to think that, okay, a man can slap you, a man can touch you, and then it's normal. No, so something like that. Now, the aspect of men defending men, honestly speaking, I think it's very important, really. Because we should think that anything like that can happen to anybody. It can happen to your younger sister, it can happen to your younger brother, it can happen to anybody. So men should take it upon themselves that, okay, if this is happening to an innocent woman, men should find a way to actually fight back. And brothers to also fight back as well. Now, the aspect of the dressing thing, you see, I think some women should understand how to dress too, No matter how a woman dresses well, but if you check it, oftentimes certain men go AWire when they see certain things. So I think that women know how you dress when go to certain places.
Balance it by saying
certain
men
way
should
you
know how
dress.
to dress. Because I still find men at the
that's
gym,
that's
biceps,
because
open lap.
that's because yeah, think about it very well. That's because women like yes,
I think our time is
let me
out
see.
already. Miracle, I think this
Women are
is
very
where you
precious
give your
beings.
final thought.
Come on.
Please.
So to conclude this, I believe that first of all, the responsibility is not just only men and women alone, but the media, the movie producers, the TikTokers, the contenters, whatever you're portraying, whatever content you're trying to create, ensure that you're mindful of the result it has on people that cannot fully eventually, whatever we make to actually.
You know what I'm going to say as we wrap up this show? It's actually our responsibility to keep ourselves safe. I know we should encourage, educate men. They should know this and know that. But at the end of the day, when you are faced with the situation, it is about you and you now. At this point, my philosophy now has really changed. I know education and reforms will help change people's mindset, but please, if you can keep yourself safe, be vigilant, know your environment, know what seems off. Don't try to wait for how, it's not exactly off.
Follow your
Know what
spirit
seems
as well.
off immediately
Yeah.
and be safe.
All right, this is where we
Honestly.
wrap up the show for today, ladies. Thank you very much. My own 2 cents is I'm trying as much as possible to keep myself safe. Ensure that you keep your child safe. I keep saying it, PTA will not be, can you calm down. If you don't train your child, if you let your child have access to everything on social media, we'll speak about it at PTA meeting. God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?